Hello and welcome to another podcast episode of Stoke Fan TV with myself, Max.
And me, Sam.
That's right. And today's guests, we've got SAMCAM down in the corner. SAMCAM, thank you for joining us again, my friend.
Pleasure,
And
mate. Pleasure.
we've also got making his debut on the podcast, Pete the Potter. Hi, Pete. Welcome. Hey, nice mug.
There's tea in there. It'll be beer later, but tea for now.
Well, thank you very much both for joining us. Now, tonight's podcast episode is going to be all about should we recall Nathan Lowe to Stoke City? And also, we have to mention the fact that Baker has returned. So Baker has been recalled, but should we recall Nathan Lowe? Sam, I'm going to throw it over to you first. And again, I just want to mention, obviously, we've got two Sams again, like we did in the last episode. Sam from Stoke Fan TV is Sam. We're going to be referred to as Sam. And SAMCAM is going to be referred to as SAMCAM. There we go. Right. So, Sam, what do you think? Sam, what are your thoughts?
I'm a little bit torn on it. I think he's obviously really enjoying his time at Walsall, and I think it would be a shame to have to put that to an end sooner than anticipated, just because Stoke are desperate for a striker. I'd like to see Stoke go out and try and sort the striker situation out as the first priority. And then if it comes to the end of the transfer window and we haven't got another striker, then that might be last ditch. Desperate times come to desperate measures.
Desperate times. Well, okay, fine. Look, last ditch. SAMCAM, what do you think?
I agree with Sam. I think everyone's pretty torn on it. He's having a spectacular season in League Two. I think he's just won Sky Bet Young Player of the Month, is it? Or maybe it's even Full Player of the Month. I'm not sure. I've just seen that on Instagram before I came on the show tonight. But no, look, it's a really difficult decision to make your mind up on it because it's a player that, like I say, is having a great season in League Two. But people who are asking for him to be recalled in January, you've got to think logically. It's a massive step up to go from League Two to the Championship like that. And we saw last season, we threw him in the deep end a little bit, tried to play him far more than he probably needed to at that stage of his career, and it didn't really work. Yes, he got the goal away at Bristol that completed that fantastic turnaround, but other than that, he looked a little bit out of his depth. He's gone to League Two. He's flying in confidence. Every game he's scoring at the moment, and it's great. But I think before we can see him play Championship football for Stoke, we've got to see him in maybe League One. So if it was up to me, I'd bring him back in January and loan him out to someone in League One. I've seen Huddersfield are actually rumoured for him as well. I think that'd be a great option for Stoke to look at and for Nathan Lowe, for all parties involved.
That's interesting that you mentioned there. So you'd recall him
and send him out loan to League One, yeah.
Well, you'd send him to League One. That's an interesting. I've not heard that as an idea yet floated amongst fans. Pete the Potter. Pete, what do you think to Nathan Lowe's return? Should we?
The word that goes through my mind is pressure, and pressure on the young lad to come back and then to start banging in the goals. I think it would be too much pressure. In fact, I think there's too much pressure on most of our young players this season, and that's something maybe we can talk about later. But I'm also worried about the position, if he did come back, that he would be played in. Now we know Sam Gallagher is going to be out for another spell again, but, best wishes to him. But I know he's going to be out for another spell. My concern is that Nathan Lowe might be played in that sort of Gallagher position, that big man up front knocking balls down. And I think that's not his position. Having seen a few of his goals for Walsall, they seem to be more poacher goals, where he's sort of hovering around the box looking for loose balls to smack in. And I'm not sure if he came back that he would be given that role. I think he would be the big guy up front to flick it on, and that I don't think that would do him any good. I have it on good authority that he's very happy at Walsall. This link is quite an interesting one. My brother-in-law, his best mate, and it is true. His best mate is Nathan Lowe's father.
Right.
And,
okay. Well.
And that's quite a good link. And I've got it on good authority that Nathan's very, very happy where he is, and I think he should stay there. So no matter what happens, whoever we sign, I would keep him at Walsall to complete the season, get his hopefully top scorer for League Two, and then come back and maybe go out, Huddersfield maybe for maybe part of next season, and then maybe bring him back. But he's so young. I just don't think I think it's too much pressure for him to come back and expected to bang in 10 more goals before the end of the season.
Well, it's no surprise, obviously, that he's enjoying himself at Walsall. Absolutely. I mean, he's played, according to SofaScore, he's in the league 21 games, it says here. Started 19, if I've got the right season. Yeah, 24-25, League Two. Played 21, started 19, 14 goals in the league. 14 so far. That's excellent. That's outstanding. So, and he's playing, if I'm right, as a two, I think, up front a lot of the time for Walsall.
Yeah.
If he was to come back to Stoke, he wouldn't be playing in the same formation at all, would he, Sam?
I don't think he'd be playing in the same formation. I agree. I think it was Pete that said it. He'd be playing in more of a number 10 position behind Tom Cannon. And I don't think that does suit Nathan Lowe.
No.
Good
You
point,
think you don't think he could say Tom Cannon? I mean, we don't. Do we know if Tom Cannon's going to stay?
I God hope so, mate. Honestly,
I hope so.
Desperately need him. Desperately need him. But one thing, if you don't mind, I will just quickly say is I don't see a scenario where Nathan Lowe comes back to Stoke for the rest of the season, unless, like I say, it's to loan him out to a League One side. I like what Pete says. I think that he is enjoying his time at Walsall. But if he scored 14 goals in 20 odd appearances this season in League Two, yes, he may be enjoying his football, but it's a player with a lot of quality at a low level at the moment. So maybe we boost the speed of his development. It's all about these loan deals, all about development and bringing them back even better when they first left. And I really think the loan to League One, see what he can do there, is the right thing to do, because he's a player that, I think, how old is he now? 20, 21 years of age. And you don't want him to become one of those players that can do it in the lower leagues on loan, but doesn't have enough chances in League One, and then comes to the Championship and he's completely cut adrift away from it. So I'd like to see him make a quick jump for the next half of the season, and if he performs really well, then maybe drift him into the Stoke side next season. I think that'd be the certain situation that I'd like. But then, like I say, I do also see where Pete's coming from, and I think maybe another 6 months in League Two, finish off the season, smashing in the goals wouldn't be a bad option either.
Yeah, I think the expectations, because we've got such a young squad, I think the expectations would be too much. And I think if we had, and hopefully we'll have with Mark Robbins, hopefully bringing in more experienced players, that there would be a better blend. And then, we could bring him back and throw him in for the last 15 minutes, etc. But I don't think we would. And I think because we're pretty desperate, if he came back, he would play a lot of games, and that would be too much for him. So I think if we had a better sort of blended youth and experience squad, then I think bring him back and then play him a bit. But that won't happen. We know that won't happen.
No, he'll get if he was to come back, I imagine it would be because we really needed somebody to come in and slot in. SAMCAM, good point there. Obviously, a few of you have mentioned the difference in level between League Two and the Championship, but is form something that we take into consideration? I mean, here's a lad who's banging them in, 14 goals. Form, would that not could that not be a factor if he was to come back and he was to start some games? The form he's in, would you not back him to maybe score a couple of goals?
I honestly wouldn't right now, to be honest, Max. I think if you're the perfect player to sort of make that judgment on is Macaulay Langstaff, in my opinion, who last season in League Two for Notts County was absolutely lethal. Was absolutely lethal in the National League. Was the top scorer in a single season ever. Went to League Two, did the same thing, scored more goals than what Nathan Lowe is doing. And I know the different players. He's a lot older than Lowe is, and there's a lot more development factors you've got to take into consideration with Nathan Lowe. But right now, Langstaff was performing better than Lowe was in League Two last season, in what was probably a much better and high standard league with the teams that were in it than they are this season. So, and you look, Langstaff made the jump to the Championship with Millwall, and he hadn't been able to hit a barn door in really. So, I think if you were going to make a judgment like that, I think he's the sort of player you'd have to make that judgment around. And I'd say no, to be completely honest. I think he needs, like I say, either what Pete says, the rest of the season in League Two, or make the quick jump to League One and see how he does.
Wasn't a didn't Arblaster as well play for Port Vale, and he was making a big name for himself, and then he went back to, I can't remember what club he went back to, but I'm not sure he's been banging them in either. But yeah, he's got a natural talent though. I think Nathan Lowe knows where the goal is, and there aren't many players that we have in the squad who know where the goals are. I just wish Bay would know where the goal is, because I think if he scores one, I think he'll have half a dozen by the end of the season.
I think, well, without going too much into Bay, I wish he'd know where his position was, which on that left wing. Come on, Bay, get out there on that left. Go down that route all week. Sam, quick question for you, mate. Nathan Lowe, is Nathan Lowe a better player than Tezgel in our team? Because I just want to touch on we haven't mentioned Tezgel. It's like he's disappeared since Palak came in. He was playing a bit, wasn't he, under Schumacher? And people were and ahhing whether we should actually loan him out. There wasn't necessarily, there was talk of Lowe going, but no, I don't think people were expecting Lowe to have the season he's having at Walsall. What about Tezgel? What should we do with him, Sam?
I was going to mention Tezgel. Tezgel's one that I'd be looking to loan out. I can't really comment on how good he is in comparison to Nathan Lowe, because obviously Nathan Lowe's played every game this season for Walsall, whereas Tezgel's probably played 3 appearances for Stoke. Can't comment, but obviously on what we've seen, Nathan Lowe looks to be a better striker than Tezgel.
But is that just because he's playing in League Two?
Potentially. I can't comment. I don't think Tezgel sitting on the bench at Stoke is doing him any good. I don't know if he's getting appearances in the under-21s behind the scenes. Don't know that. But him sitting on the bench is not doing him any good. Nathan Lowe is 19 years old. He's getting appearance after appearance. He's banging them in. Long may that continue. And then bring him back to Stoke when he's got the experience. Because this is Nathan Lowe's first decent season he's ever had. So we need to just keep it going.
You wouldn't think of recalling Lowe and then loaning Tezgel out in his place?
No, they're both too young to really be players that we need to rely on up front. We definitely need to sort the striker position out, because Sam Gallagher, no disrespect to Sam Gallagher, he's not managed to complete a whole game yet since coming to the club. That is not what we need up front. We've got Tom Cannon and Ennis. I can't see Ennis still being in a Stoke shirt after January. I can see Ennis going. We're going to have to get a replacement.
And no one's mentioned Ryan May either. Obviously, he's on loan, but I don't think he's even played yet for.
He's not played a single game. He got injured as soon as he got there and has not played. So we can't recall him either. And I wouldn't want Stoke to recall him.
Well, I'm going to ask you all the question. I'm going to ask you all a question. Bear in mind, this is about Lowe, and we have mentioned that without bringing too many of the other strikers into it. Say we don't get another striker this January, and say Cannon goes back to Leicester, then what?
Then we're in a terrible position, mate. Let me tell you that. And that's why Sam is completely right. We have to bring in another option in January. I mean, I think strikers, especially in the January window, are really difficult to come by. And we've already got a good quality one in Tom Cannon if he stays. But like you say, if he goes back to Leicester, which is very possible this window, and maybe even looks for a permanent club elsewhere in the upper end of the Championship right now, then you're right. Where does that leave us? It leaves us near the bottom end of the Championship right now with one striker who, yes, has looked good when he's played, but may only play 5 more games this season. And then what do we do? I mean, for me, we have to bring in another striker this window. It's absolutely crucial. I don't think Ennis, with all due respect, is Championship quality from what we've seen in the year or so he's been here now. I think he'll be gone in January, exactly like Sam says. So yeah, we drastically need a striker. I think probably only on loan, maybe not a permanent option right now. We've got a lot of young players that are coming through, but let's get in a loan player that can just do the job for the half of the season and add us some extra options up front, in my opinion.
Pete,
I mean, I look forward to the day. I'm looking forward to the day where we don't have to mention the word loan, because a team full of loanees is just depresses me so much. And we could do a whole episode on, you know, the pros and cons of getting loanees. But from my point of view, if we've got a team full of people on loan, they're not going to put 110% into it. They won't be as passionate and about their team when their team is somewhere else.
I was going to say, and they have with Lewis Kumas, if you watched him this season.
Yeah, I know. But Lewis Kumas, I mean, I do rate him. I do think he could possibly do a job more central. I think he knows where the goal is. I think.
Well, he was before Cannon arrived. He was our best option.
And I think a worst case scenario, I think we'd probably put him there and then look at, maybe moving Bay to the right, because I think we need to start moving things around, because I think teams we play against think we're a bit too predictable, even within matches. As a former coach of schools football and local football, I very much believe in swapping wingers just to confuse the defenders, etc.
Yes.
But what do I know? But yeah, and we just need to get Bay back, firing again. And I've got a theory about that, and that's based on my.
Go on, then. What's your theory?
I think genuinely, he's homesick. And
I wouldn't be surprised about that.
I've worked abroad. I'm a language teacher, and I've seen many visitors come over to this country, and they have a great first year because they're excited about everything, and then they miss home. And I've got a sneaky feeling, I obviously don't know, that he's missing home, and there's just something not quite right with him.
He doesn't look himself. He doesn't look the player of last season. Sam and I did a show. We said, is Bay the secret to Stoke's success? Since we did that, singing his praises, it seems like he's gone just further and further downhill. When I was watching that last game, I kept on thinking, well, he was moved over to the left wing second half when Gallagher got injured, and he got moved over into his better position, if you ask me. But it was like he wasn't even there. It's like he kept drifting back into the middle, getting deeper and deeper. Kumas, on the other hand, on the other wing, was doing exactly what they needed him to, just constantly attacking down that wing. Listen, we have Bay, yeah, Kumas, yeah. We've got another loan player who was on loan, who's now come back into the squad in Baker. I know we got round to Baker at last in the show.
Come on.
Yeah.
Thank the Lord. This to me is common sense. It's common sense.
It's a no-brainer.
Sam mentioned to me, or he mentioned in one of the WhatsApp groups, he mentioned about bringing Kundal back in, didn't you, Sam? He said, "Oh, could we bring Kundal back in?" And my response to you, Sam, was, "We've got a very good player in Baker out on loan. What we did, we got a guy who can play anywhere in that midfield. He's been playing as almost on the left at times for Blackburn in a front, in that three behind the striker, and he's really good at set pieces.
Yeah, and he's not 19. He's actually got some experience, hopefully a calm head, just to help some of the younger lads. So I wrote it on my pad. It's a no-brainer. Yeah, get him back, get him in, and hopefully he'll settle the side.
I mean, maybe Mark Robbins was like, "Who's that lad who scored against us in that first game and came on and bagged a goal?" And it was like, "Where's he? Oh yeah, he's at Blackburn." Are we all in the same boat here? We're all happy that Baker's back.
100%.
Definitely.
Yeah. Shouldn't have ever gone in the first place.
Shouldn't have ever gone. So where does Baker fit into this current team? Because I don't think we could. I think over the last few games since Palak departed, I'd say that in the middle of the pitch, Berger's been playing better.
Yeah, definitely.
And also Seko. Okay. Now, for me, those two in the middle of the park They have to be there, in my opinion. I think they're our best too. But where does Baker come in? Where does he? Because he can play all round. Where does he come in for people?
I'd play him as a number 10.
Okay,
I'd play him as I'd play him as a number 10 behind Cannon, because Gallagher's injured now. So who are we going to play as that number 10 behind Cannon? We haven't got anyone. Baker fits in there. I'd take him out for Jono, to be honest with you.
Hang on,
It'd take Jono's name on the team sheet, not his position. I'd have Berger and Seko in the midfield, and I'd have Baker like the attacking midfield player, and then two as the defensive ones. Because when Berger come on against Plymouth the other day, he played really well.
Yeah, he did.
He did. In fact, I said to the bloke I went with that if he'd started, and I actually think he probably could have started, then I think we would have won that match. There was just something different about the team when he came on, and there were obviously more chances and a bit of freshness. But yeah,
he seemed to want to run with the ball for a start.
Yeah,
he seemed to want to take the ball and run with it.
Yeah.
So where would you play Baker, Pete?
Yeah, heart of midfield. I'd Seko, deep midfield, and then Berger and Baker more in the middle. So I would still keep him in the middle for directing things, quick free kicks. Just have that little triangle of Seko picking it up, from defence, and then just pinging it out to Berger or Baker, and then we can start our attack from there. So I'd keep him. I'd keep him centre. In my opinion.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Moran, you'd lose Moran from that?
Yeah, I would for now, because again he's young, and I think there's been too much pressure on him, and that's probably from us as well. Watching the games, and I like Moran, but I think he's had too much pressure on his shoulders, and I just think we just need to bring in a slightly older head. So yeah, I'm saying Moran's rubbish. I just think he just needs to maybe just.
Well, Baker would get the nod over
not play the whole game. Not play the whole game. Yeah. So Baker for Moran. That's just my opinion.
Okay, SAMCAM, where would you fit Baker into this team?
Hey, look, I'd fit him in anywhere in the midfield. For me, I think he's a really, really versatile player. I mean, you said it. Oh, hold on, sorry.
It's okay. I can hear you.
Sorry about that. I just had a call from my mum. I do apologise. But oh my gosh, she called me again. But yeah, no, look, he's a really versatile midfielder. He knows exactly what he's doing. I think Pete made another really good point. He adds experience to the midfield, a bit of a level head when we've got a team of a lot of young players. And you know what he adds? The most things he adds, and that's aggression. And that's something that Stoke need, a bit of bite to us. That's what Robbins likes in his teams. And Lewis Baker does exactly that. He's a very controlled midfielder. He's composed on the ball. But if there's someone you want to go into a tackle, win the ball, set the tone for the game, he's the perfect player to do so. And look, we said at the start of the season, why let go of such a key player, it felt, to our team, someone that scored on the opening day of the season to help us win the game.
Yeah,
well, Laurent, I understood more because he was going for more higher up challenges. But Blackburn, I know they've had a really good season, but especially at the start of this season, felt a very similar team size to us. Do you know what I mean? So it felt clueless letting Baker go. So no, I'm buzzing his bag, and I think he will be a really crucial player for the rest of the season.
I couldn't agree more. I think that I'm chuffed he's back. It really, when I heard that news, I was, it made me day, to be quite honest with you.
He could be our best signing, couldn't he? Our best signing.
Yeah. And I think some of the Blackburn fans, from what I've heard, they're gutted that he's left, because he's a dangerous player. I like the fact as well, he's not afraid to take a shot from 20 yards out. He's not afraid to have a go. How many players in the team have we got that shoot, apart from Cannon?
Of course, we know he can score free kicks and penalties, but actually, I can't remember whether he took corners for us before he went, but we all agree that Bay's corners have been really poor this season. and if somebody else can take that pressure off him and say, look, I'll have a go, you just hang around the edge of the box, then again, might score from a corner. So, dead balls include corners as well.
Well, absolutely, yeah, and deep line free kicks. It all of a sudden you've got this asset in your team. For me, with Baker in there, and he's had some managers that haven't fancied him, has he? He's had some managers that are like, oh, I don't fancy him, and I think that under Shuey, obviously he went out, and then Palak. Well, I don't. He didn't get a chance to call him back, but do you know what I mean? I think this is brilliant. I really do. I really do. I think that having him in is going to boost the team. Right, gents, we're coming up towards the end of the show. I think have we established then, just to finish off, have we established then that we probably would leave Lowe where he is for the time being?
Yeah.
Are we all
Yeah.
in agreement for that? Do we
I'm still sticking to my opinion that I want to see him in League One.
Yeah, okay.
I'm sticking with that.
Sorry,
Okay.
who's going maybe bring him back, loan him out again to a different one? I mean, if there are any Walsall fans watching this, let us know what you think. Let us know. I'm sure none of you are going to say you want him to come back to Stoke just yet. I mean, I couldn't imagine so. And then we're all happy that Baker's back as well. Right, I think that's it. I think we've come to the end of another podcast episode of Stoke Fan TV. If you're watching this on YouTube, give us a like for the video and give us subscribe. And if you're following us on Spotify now, if this is going out on Spotify, give us a follow on that as well. And thanks to all our guests today. Now we've tried to do the next bit several times, and we've got to go goodbye from all of us. So we're gonna try it again. So that's goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
And goodbye from me, and a quick hi, and I promised them I'd do this, to Felix, James, Lynn and John, Si, Nick, Sue, Adam and Rich.
There you go. There you go.
And then,
shout out
they'll all start watching the programme now, so that's a boost for your numbers.
Amazing. Well, thanks both. Thank you to our guests today. Much appreciated. And we'll be back in probably a week's time, unless some major signings come in. And we'll probably be discussing, I don't know, should Stoke sign several wingers and 24 strikers just in case Sam Gallagher gets injured for the long term. Right, anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll see you all again soon.
Cheers, fellas.